left. It's going to come down.
Favor making a third as he looks up. Making a finds the drop three. Stunning here from.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final day of our Stage 2 qualifier number 1. Remember, we still have another next week, so if you don't make it, sign up for that one. But Jonah, we've got our top 16 teams in, and we've got some, I feel like, unexpected entries into our playoffs.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting 2 days, and we've seen a couple of maybe more well-known names kind of jumping in, but on maybe less well-known teams. It's been really fun over the last few days to see how these teams have kind of come into their element here. We've even seen Pengu step up and take a shot at making SCS, which has been really exciting. Yesterday, specifically, we saw a lot. Started off with my good collegiate buddies, NCSU, unfortunately falling to Outlast to kick off the day. But that was a good game. I think, what,
It was close. 7-5.
7-5. Yeah, it was a very good game to watch, and Outlast proved that, you know, they could hang in, and they unfortunately, I don't believe they ended up making it here into our closed quals, but they did put up a pretty strong performance overall.
And we also had an Aerial Arise, a second Aerial Arise Pug Stack, I guess. The only members from the actual Challenger League team being Kento and Wimpy, but they've been playing with Rethinkin, with Og, and then with CZ and Courageous Carl 6, who, if you're unfamiliar with that name, is actually Valor, who was in Challenger League competing with Aqualix, and he was really like the only member of that Aqualix team who was actually doing anything. This was a hell of a game, though. In Control, not the actual In Control Nation, In Control with 2 L's, a pug stack made up of Jazzman the Caster and a lot of ex-comp players who have since stopped playing. They actually beat Okami, currently known as Whittle Kitties 8-7.
Yeah, a little bit surprising there, and a potential rematch we've got in the cards today. If both In Control with 2 L's and Whittle Kitties ends up winning their first round of 16 game, we are going to definitely bring that one to you for the, I mean, who's going to make SCS? That game, that rematch will determine which team works their way into SCS6 Split 2 here. So cannot wait to see that one. Of course, our final game yesterday, Asylum Patience versus Didn't Ask. This one also was a pretty thrilling game and a final good way to close out the day. But I'm really excited about what we've got in front of us today, Harrison, because it is closed quals after all. It is our final day of this first qualifier, and by the end of it, we are going to have 4 new teams stepping up and joining SCS.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited. You know, In Control being one of those teams that maybe not a lot of people expected to be here. Outlast and Asylum Patience, otherwise known as Fernie's Tacos and Challenger League, actually not making the cut. Counter to what we saw in the last call, I think they both made it into closed quals both times, or the Outlast only once, but it's definitely odd to see them not here in our Stage 1 qualifier playoffs. But before we get into anything else, we would like to thank, you know, one of our sponsors, Mike and Ike. Of course, every single stream, we always give a shout out to them. We love these guys. They've been with NSG even before NSG was with SCS. Back in the monthlies, Mike and Ike has always been a proud sponsor of NSG's events, and now us here at SCS6. If you want to level up your game, you can grab a pack of Mike and Ike. There's the original, there's Mega Mix Sour, and Mega Mix Original, Jonah. I didn't even know the Sour one existed until now. I have yet to try that one. I do like normal Mike and Ike and normal Mega Mix, so I'm sure the Sour probably aims to please as well. So again, thank you, Mike and Ike, for helping us keep the SCS train going, because, well, I cannot wait. We have our structure as well. So after this weekend, we have one more qualifier. That's going to be next weekend. And then we get into the season. It's going to be just like Stage 1, although a little bit quicker. It's 4 weeks based on a double elimination group style play. There's going to be 4 groups, 16 teams each. You play a double elimination bracket within each group. And in the 4th week, we'll have our top 8, and they play the playoffs.
Harrison, actually, this stage is going to be even faster than the first. It is going to be 3 weeks, a rapid fire stage, because we're looking forward to the Pro-Am. We've got to cram all of this in to not only figure out, you know, who's going to win stage 2, work their way to the Pro-Am, who's going to be those top 2 leaderboard teams, and then we even have another last chance qualifier to get into the mix. So if you tuned in to stage 1, you know how rapid fire that was. It's going to be even quicker, and it is going to be even more exciting. Here are your currently qualified teams. Everyone here, these top 8 have been invited from the previous season. The way we did this is our top 4 finishers from SCS Split 1, they've been invited back, and our top 4 CL finishers have also been invited back. So here you have all your groups. When we end today, we're going to have 4 more teams who will join our existing 8 here in our second stage of SCX. And of course, when we come in a few days, we've got another qualifier to finish out who is going to be those final 4 teams. But today, 4 more teams will join these 8 you see on your screen, making it, and here they are. Here are the teams that have a chance of making it and the bracket that they're going to have to compete in. 2 games, 2 wins is all you need to make SCS. Both of these teams, all of these teams, in fact, are looking to do that here.
Yeah, of course, there's a lot of familiar names such as Eclectic, who are a surprise addition to our stage in Stage 1. Wichita Wolves Academy, of course, so there's 2 Wichita Wolves Academies now. The one that's already in Stage 1 were previously Surf, our winners. So that's, Reed Sync, Asian, Ashen, Ambi, and Spiff. Those guys just got picked up for Wichita Wolves Academy. This is the original Academy team with, Trev Mac, Big Guy, Skunky, the guys who were previously Revenge Nation. That's the Wichita Wolves Academy competing. West Garfield, the X-Pro plus Psychosis and Matt Bonger Pug Stack that came second in our standalone tournament, losing to Juicers in the grand finals. We have, Aerial Arise with Kento and Wimpy. That Pug Stack didn't ask, who have been in every single qualifier so far. The In Control, the Mount Olympus Pug Stack, as we like to call them. These are the 4 teams that we think are going to power through. Wichita Wolves Academy have proven themselves time and time again to be a formidable team. They'll be looking to do it, though, this time with PKers instead of JJ. Chess Club, well, it's got Gunner on it. Gunner is the most, winningest player in all of T3. Didn't win Stage 1, but is looking to come back. The Aerial Arise Pug Stack have been looking something fierce. You can never bet against the likes of Kento and Wimpy. And, just for fun, we have In Control blowing out their group, because I think if Jazzman qualifies for SCS6, that'd be pretty freaking funny.
It'd be hilarious. I think it's a good sign that the world as we know it is coming to an end. But I think it'd be great to see. That's why we have him at number 4. As you know, this top 16, we're just kind of throwing this together to just maybe take a guess at how we think this closed bracket is going to shake up. But that's all we can do right now, is just throw a couple of guesses out there. We've got our first match coming up in just a few moments. We've got the Wichita Wolves Academy team taken on West Garfield, and this one is hopefully going to be a very exciting match to watch. As we predicted there, as you saw at the top, we think Wichita Wolves Academy has a shot at making it through, but to get there, they've got, I think, probably the toughest opponent they could have possibly drawn just to start out the entire day. West Garfield, as we saw in our standalone tournament, is a team that just, tears people apart. It's Bio, it's Barring, it's Forrest, it's Psychosis, and Rudy. You've got a ton of Pro League experience on this team. You've got CL experience. You've got a lot of talent. And that's exactly what the Wichita Wolves Academy team are going to have to go up against tonight. Now, they've got a stacked team as well. Again, it's PKers, Skunky, Chosen, Trev Mac, and Big Guy. And we saw from what we've seen in the past couple of days that they can absolutely hang with the best, but they have a lot to prove here right off the bat.
Yeah, if there's anything we know about West Garfield from the last standalone tournament, it's the experience and their ability to adapt on the fly despite being a pug stack. It seems like their IGL work, or maybe the team kind of co-IGLs, is still pretty solid. Wichita Wolves Academy, though, we know are, haven't qualified for SCS. We're one step away from qualifying for Stage 3 of CL, but could never quite make it. They lost Kenny, and they got JJ Blastful, then they dropped JJ, and now we have PKers. PKers has pretty big shoes to fill to make sure that Wichita Wolves Academy is still kind of at the top of at least qualifiers. Because remember, they actually lost the SCS Stage 2 qualifiers to In Control, the actual In Control Nation roster, which is actually different now. Back then it was, like Serve and them, but In Control is different now. But nevertheless, these are our maps. Villa Oregon Cafe. Again.
Classic wall maps right here. Teams want to stay in their comfort zone, and these are exactly the maps that would fall into such a category. Starting up with Villa, that is where we'll begin the night. But as you said, Harrison, JJ no longer on this team. Sucks to see JJ and the T3 mastermind that he is no longer in the mix here. But it does mean for the Academy team here of Wichita Wolves that they actually have a chance at qualifying because, of course, JJ and his qual curse are no longer on the team. So they've got a chance at getting through. There's no factors outside their control, you could say. Yes. That are preventing them from making it in. But we're going to head right on to our game here. We'll take a look at our operator bands in just a moment and see exactly what kind of Villa we have in store for us, Harrison.
Hopefully not a boring one, though I imagine it is a qualifier. We're probably just going to see things like the Thatcher ban, a hard breacher, maybe West Garfield. They're a pug stack, so maybe we'll see some sort of target ban, like a fragging operator that West Garfield loves to run around with. But West Garfield, of course, again, have the first ban. They've been a fan of the Thatcher in their standalone tournament, and they will keep that trend here in the qualifier. So Thatcher gone. Standard ban on literally every map in the game. Don't really need to explain that one. I'm more interested with what Wichita Wolves Academy is going to respond with. There's a plethora of different ones they could either target ban, or whether it be a hard breacher, maybe a flank watch operator, the Flores, and there it is, right on cue. Wow, like a psychic. So that leaves all 4 hard breachers up and makes that shield play just a little bit more there.
Yeah, the Flores is something we've seen banned a lot recently. Those Rotero drones can be incredibly impactful at just burning out utility and circumventing all of the, the Jaeger, the Wamai discs, the Aruni gates. It can just kind of roll right underneath all of that and just, deal all that destruction that defensive teams want to stay away from as much as they can. So no Rotero drones, no Electro Claw either. So something that the defensive side is not going to be able to have and use to their advantage. But the fact that the Kaid is off the board and the fact that the Valkyrie is off the board surprises nobody, I am sure. Those black eye cameras are incredibly powerful on every single map you bring them to, but especially Villa, and that in second floor with so much soft destruction and so much potential for a nitro cell to find its way right onto the ceiling of that first floor, blowing attackers sky high. A classic occurrence on this map that we may see, but it will not come due to information from those Valk cams. So we're going to head right here into round number 1. West Garfield, they'll be starting off on the defense. WW Academy, they will be getting on the attack. And as we saw, they'll tease the Ying. Chosen will do that, but as he switches over to the Yana, it seems we're going to see, an Ashe, actually. I was going to say we're going to see a bit more of a standard attacking lineup, but the Ashe is always something interesting that teams like to throw in the mix. You combine that with a Finka and a Lion, and we see what could be a pretty aggressive start.
Yeah, the Ashe is something that Chosen plays a lot. I know he plays it on Oregon as well when he's not on Iana. He plays it on Villa. He's always been kind of a staple of the Wichita Wolves Academy attack. He either plays, like I said, either the Iana or the Ashe, and it seems like he's favoring the Ashe today. And he's one of those players that you want to keep an eye on. Wichita Wolves Academy's 2 superstars, every single one of them can frag out, but the 2 that you really want to pay attention to is Chosen and Trevmac. Trevmac came, I remember, literally out of nowhere from like Swift Uprising Academy in EPS Season 5 to being considered to be one of the best amateur players. And he's on the Finka. He's looking to tear up West Garfield. But of course, West Garfield's defenses are pretty damn good, if we remember from that standalone tournament. And that kind of tends to be where Pug Stacks shine, is on the defense, because it requires a lot less coordination than the attack does. You can get, kind of frisky with it when it comes to the defense, a lot easier. But Wichita Wolves Academy are going to be starting with that study over clear, and of course attacking though into a pulse. And like you said about these C4s, although they don't have the Valkyrie, they've still got that heartbeat sensor. So as Wichita Wolves continues with this clear, once they reach the master side of things, they're going to have to make sure not to stand in one place for too long.
Right now, I don't know, how much of that soft destruction we are going to see. It depends exactly what Big Guy wants to do. Basically, you can follow the sledge. If the sledge goes upstairs and clears top down, you can be pretty confident that the entire attacking team is going to follow in his footsteps. That breaching hammer, so important when it comes to the top-down destruction, and it does appear that WW Academy would like to make that clear happen. It will be taking them, a little bit of time to get that done. There are a couple of pesky roamers upstairs to still encounter and deal with. One of those is Psychosis, who has worked his way now over to the trophy and statuary side, as he has been successfully cleared out by the attack from the Aviator and Games side of things. He actually hasn't fully given up this control, though. He's very close to several players now working their way towards his position. You've got somebody, I believe, working their way over towards the red stairs, and you've, of course, got Big Guy swinging in to 90 as well. A couple of players down below trying to support this clear, or support the denial of this clear, rather. That's both Forrest and Rudy, who is extended a little bit away from the bomb site right now just to provide additional intel to these top floor players. But take a look at the clock right now. We are under 90 seconds, and this clear is far from complete. In fact, it's going awry right now. I mean, already 1 kill found by the defense. PK dropped and dealt with. A trade found in response onto Psychosis, and now that Barring's been taken care of, WW Academy hold the advantage, but the map control is something they only now have under their fingertips.
And Barn got quite aggressive in bathroom, taking out the Hibana early on. Now, she's pretty much already done her job now that Master and Trophy and Statuary is clear, but when it comes to that transition onto the site, you can no longer open the pantry wall. You can no longer open the laundry wall. These are mainly going to be dry pushes through bottlenecks, and that's where the vertical play will now come even more in handy to uproot these defenders, make sure they're uncomfortable, and make sure they can't hold, you know, these standard crossfires you see on the doorways, which Wolves are eventually going to have to push on through. Now, Biologic, whether aided by the Pulse or not, is going to get a very nice C4 kill on the Trevmac. Now you've lost your Finka, and one of those key operators that gives you the confidence, gives you that extra HP to try and push through those bottlenecks head first, is now gone, but the mute will be refragged. That does not go unanswered, so it's still a one-man advantage here. Wichita Wolves Academy could play the trade game. Forrest is going to go down. That leaves it all on Rudy, but he's only got 5 seconds to delay. He'll take out one. Chosen now dead. Big guy on low HP. Skunky's on the hunt, though. They don't have the case! And what? The round will expire just before the Lions shots connect, and the defense take the first point.
An oversight from the Wichita Wolves Academy team there. I mean, where was that diffuser? Why wasn't it in someone's hand? And why wasn't it going down on the ground in what was basically a 3v1 situation with about 10 seconds to go? A very winnable side of things for the attack, and they let it slip away. I mean, Rudy got one impressive kill and was trying to be as much of a nuisance as possible, but at some point, he probably realized, wait a second here, I don't hear the bomb going down. I hear a couple of attackers, you know, scrambling around this site, trying to sprint at me. All they've got to do is sit behind this corner and play it safe, and, well, he was absolutely correct. For some reason, Wichita just wasn't getting that bomb down. Maybe it wasn't recovered on the top floor ever since PK was felled, or someone maybe just decided to go for the frag instead. I wasn't exactly sure where that bomb, where the case actually was in those closing seconds, but the fact that it was not being put on the ground actively by someone on the attack, very concerning, and definitely a big mistake from the Academy side here. I mean, they easily could have won that round. Wichita had the advantage. It was a 3v1, and they let it slip away.
Yeah, you also have, too, despite the upstairs clear, maybe it was a side effect of the Finka going down early, but a lot of times you see either Ash charges or nades or Gone 6 shots being sent through the floor to clear utility on site. We saw in the dying moments of that round, Rudy was able to isolate those gunfights because he had a shield to play around. So perhaps, you know, again, that time wearing down, just lack of utility clear from above, whatever, that came to hurt them in the end as well. But either way, well played to Rudy as the Pulse in that 1v3. The UMP is not often a gun you want in a situation like that, but he still made it work. Now, Wichita Wolves Academy have to lick their wounds after that first round. Obviously not the way they wanted it to end. They'll have to try and recover here on AVG, and of course there is a roam being established from the defense, both Barring and Rudy off-site over towards the trophy statuary side of things. But so far from Wichita Wolves Academy, they're mainly droning out the first floor, so they might not even need to pressure that. It's looking like it's going to be a main stairs take here, and Psychosis, curiously enough, the Wamai roaming downstairs is going to be the first target for this attack.
Right, Wichita trying to flush out these defenders on this bottom floor, and they spot one, and they deal with him rather quickly. Good shot there from Chosen. Was worried there that Psychosis might have been able to get a shot through the soft wall, but he was felled before he could fight back. Not a single bullet even connecting over on towards the Ash. So Wichita will start things off very well as they speed up their roam clear, especially compared to last round, markedly so. I mean, last time they really hadn't taken much map control, even under a minute to go in the round, but now with just a minute expired, they are getting things well underway. Great nade from below from Trev. That'll take down Forrest, and that's going to now force West Garfield into an uncomfortable 3v5 situation. Now, they might be working a little bit of a flank here. Barring is tempting it, working his way down the red stairs, and he'll actually execute it very well, even though he was pinged and his position was known. He'll take down Skunky regardless. Now Wichita have to turn their attention to maybe the backside and have to worry about someone coming up on a flank at any given moment. Barring, though, will retake back upstairs and join the rest of his team because with an execute nearly mounting around the corner, he knows it's best to fight this one in a 3v4 on site if they can.
Fortunately, Bio cannot find a free pick as those attackers skate right past the floor holes. Well done as well to Trevmac to spot out those floor holes and get that easy kill with the grenade, and that's really what's keeping Wichita Wolves Academy in from firm control of this round. Of course, they've got the Hibana over towards towards Study, but they can't open the wall because of that mute jammer. And Wichita Wolves Academy, it looks like they don't have any more utility to deal with that from below. No nades on either Big Guy or TrevMac. I don't know if maybe TrevMac still has a Gone 6 that he could go below with. Looks like that's what he's working to do, but it's actually the pings on the Jaeger. He's on the hunt. He's going to try and pre-fire through the floor, but the Jaeger has since moved, maybe wise to the antics of TrevMac below. The Finka's still going to attempt to push up towards red. He's going to break the bar. Baring has a mean angle down on it, and that's a freebie for the Jaeger. Baring's second kill and the equalizer we were looking for. Big Guy goes down to Rudy. Chosen lit up, trying to push in the site. Rudy still over in 90, gets another, and Bio holding down behind Bar gets the last. West Garfield take round number 2 in a 3 versus 5 without losing a single body after.
Very impressive in the 3v5. Just shows you the kind of experience that these players have and how willingly they are to allow that experience to shine through. We just saw 3 players put on a clinic in how to play in the 3v5, how to play extremely patient, maybe throwing a little bit of aggression here and there, just enough to slow down the attacking team and force the Wolves to pivot a little bit, worry about a couple of different angles. And because the Wolves, they got a little bit indecisive there, they really didn't take much ground other than the 2 kills they found right off the bat, right? I mean, within a minute 30, 2 kills were found. Everything was going the attacker's way, and then they just kind of stopped. Baring was sneaking around from behind, so I get that they were trying to turn their attention there. That's important. But they kind of abandoned their main stairs push for a moment, and then when they eventually went back to it, it seemed that they were lacking a little bit of intel and lacking maybe a little bit more map control as well. I mean, how was Rudy able to sneak around and position himself in 90 Hall? That's a puzzler right there. There was a drone, as we saw, on Baring's position on the top of red stairs. They were pinging him and trying to shoot him from below. I assume that drone didn't see all the way down 90, or maybe somebody wasn't watching that drone anymore, because somehow Rudy was able to work his way out of the site into 90 and line up 2 kills. Even after he found the first kill, it was unclear if the Wolves identified that and figured out a way to take him down, because he was able to eventually line up a second. The on-site players never really felt that threatened. And there you have it, a 3v5, back-to-back rounds with the Wichita Wolves holding an advantage, but letting that advantage slip away.
Maybe it's PKers not being quite acclimated to the roster yet. Maybe it's an issue with IGLing that mid to late round and really capitalizing on set advantages. But right now, West Garfield just proving that they still have what it takes. They can still hold on. And like you said, 2-0 as Wichita Wolves Academy now start with the study clear, trying for a south to north take, and they've got to deal with Biologic, who's playing the smoke on this AVG roam. Open study wall to his right, and that's really stumping Wichita Wolves Academy for now. They are yet to push in, and Rudy will get aggressive, jumping out, taking the 90 Repel player right off his rope. Big Guy, the first death, that's your sledge dead. Sure, you don't need his verticality, but the nades always come in handy, and that's a fantastic utility pick for West Garfield.
Yeah, 1 set of nades off the board. Still have 2 more, though. You've got Chosen and TrevMac, both on the, the Yana, the Finka, respectively. They've got 4 frag grenades between them, but now they've got to figure out a way to actually utilize them. Right now, we see this Academy team working their way around, trying to pivot, maybe locate Forrest. They didn't know he was holding an aggressive angle, but unfortunately for Forrest, he wasn't quite able to find Chosen's head. Only a couple of bullets landing in his shoulders, so the Yana able to survive, and looks like to join the rest of the team on a, last-minute master-sided take. Trev will just be sitting crouched in the hallway and lose the fight to Baring, who had no idea the Finka was there. Talk about errors. Bar's going to make a comment about that, and understandably so. An issue there. Another issue slowing down the side of the Wolves. A couple of flashes coming in, but West Garfield right now, they're playing comfortable. It's their side now in the 5v3. They hold the advantage, and they're willing to take gunfights. And even Forrest is going to be going for a bandit trick. Where are the nades? Where's the pressure from below? It's nowhere to be found. Forrest gets that bandit trick off uncontested.
You saw the nade was misthrown by Chosen as well, going way too far off the wall to stop any sort of bandit trick. And because Big Guy and TrevMac died for free, their nades are not of use. So now we're in a 3 versus 5 for Wichita Wolves Academy for the first time this game. West Garfield start off with the man advantage, and that will increase by 1. Now it's just Chosen and PKers. Baring will go down, but Chosen is dead in the bathtub thanks to a shotgun. Rudy looks away to confirm his kill, and he'll die to PKers, but still, it's a 1 versus 3, and Hibana is very low. Bio will put him out of his misery, and Garfield put together 3 rounds in a row. That's a perfect site rotation to start off the map.
Yeah, what a statement to make right off the bat as well. West Garfield, I mean, we did preface this by saying we think that maybe the Wichita Wolves Academy team might be the favorites here, but West Garfield proving that statement, at least it's seeming that that statement was very wrong, at least here on Villa. That is 3 very clean defensive rounds. Well, maybe I'll correct that. Not very clean. The last one was very clean. The first 2 were messy on the defensive side, but even messier on the attacking side. And just, enough play in the late round, enough cohesion in the late round for the West Garfield defense. Just putting that together, it's enough to slow down and defeat this Wichita Wolves Academy attacking side, just given some of the mistakes that they have made. So now on the second half of their, an attacking situation here, I mean, we've got to see them pivot. We've got to see them change something up. That last round, maybe forget it, but look past those first 2. Look at those first 2 and say, okay, what are the errors that we made and how do we correct them? Because theoretically, this is a bomb site that they were looking really good on. They held a 3v1 with 10 seconds left. They had 3 players pushing in from 3 different angles. All they had to do was kill Rudy, who had the measly UMP in his hand and very little intel to work off of. They fumbled the bag there. They dropped the case and they couldn't quite get the kill. That is where they have to make the adjustment. Maybe play a little bit more objective focus. Maybe play a little bit more unified instead of allowing, I think it was, who was that? I think it was the Ash over by the laundry door who ended up dropping the case last time. We've got to, how do you remedy that this time? Are you going to maybe have somebody make someone else have the case? That makes more sense to have the case. Or are you going to have them push in together and try to recover that case if possible? Obviously, a lot of speculation, but we're going to have to see some action on the side of this Wolves team if they want to get something going.
Up. Freebie for Forrest. He'll shoot open the barricade. Chosen will be looking straight in his direction, though. Even pre-firing the next window, the Ying able to get away pretty safely. Wichita Wolves Academy seeming like maybe they're going to push pantry this time. TrevMac is posting up early on the window. There is no horizontal clear. There is no clear in from study this time like we saw in their previous attempt. Big Guy, in fact, is all the way down in the basement. Skunky taking the top floor, and this does look like it's going to be primarily a pantry take as TrevMac sends out a nade and a Gone 6 trying to rush on through, but Bio's holding an angle with the shotgun. Rudy the next to find a kill. Bio will finally get traded. In comes the Ying, already using all of her candelas. Big Guy will get a second on the round before he's traded out, but Chosen's in the bomb site, getting another kill on an anchor. We've evened out 2-on-2 after the initial rush attempt, and while it was messy, it was certainly not perfectly executed by any means. Wichita Wolves Academy, they're still able to keep in step. It really looked like West Garfield were going to run away with the advantage there, but again, big ups to Big Guy for finding 2, coming up from the basement where the defense least expect. Now we've let the dust settle, and the defense has started to recollect themselves, but here comes Skunky right through Meadow. He'll catch Barring by surprise. That leaves it all on Psychosis in the 1 versus 2.
Well, these are situations where we've seen the Wolves struggle in the past. They have not been cohesive even when they've held these advantages, but Psychosis has yet to find the scoreboard, and now he's going to have to find 2 kills or find a way to stop the plant. There's 1. He looks for the second towards Laundry, has a pretty good idea of where Chosen is positioned. Chosen has been here the entire time and really hasn't gone for any sort of a rotation, and it looks like he is still going to be holding this angle. But this time, and a big difference, is that he's got some intel to work off of. He's spotted Psychosis. He's going to go for the swing, but Psychosis goes for the pre-fire, and he catches him out in the middle of the open. A clean headshot for the Malusi, and Psychosis makes it happen, winning out in the 1v2 yet again. The Wolves struggle to close out rounds where it looks like they have the advantage. Big ups to Psychosis, who won that situation and found his first 2 kills of the night in that clutch. But again, troubling pattern emerging for this Academy team. West Garfield, 4 in a row.
I mean, just to start out, I have to question the decision to rush from Wichita Wolves Academy. West Garfield were not roaming heavily at all. Most of their bodies were on site, and you could see those defenders were ready and waiting for those pushes. I mean, TrevMac getting caught immediately by the shotgun. I mean, like I said, Big Guy in the basement was definitely unexpected. He found the proper trades. But in a 2 versus 2 like that, the attack did not keep the ball rolling. Skunky and Chosen chose to back off, and that allows the defenders of West Garfield to recollect themselves. Now, sure, Barring goes down, but Psychosis in the 1 versus 2, playing behind Tetris, knows where those last 2 attackers are, or at least where they previously were. One coming from Memo, and Chosen, who earlier got a kill from Laundry, and like you said, had not hit a rotation throughout that entire round. Big mistake from Wichita Wolves Academy in the 1v2 was Skunky. Skunky did not allow Chosen to gather the info with the drone before pushing through Memo. We saw Skunky kind of crouch walking in. Psychosis got the shot over the Tetris table, and then the drone found him. If the call from Chosen was to gather info, either he should have let Skunky know, or Skunky should have listened and waited. Because if that was just a straight 1v2, onto a Tetris player who was peeking aggressively into Memo, Wichita Wolves Academy probably go 1 for 1 and end up winning the round. But the lack of hesitation there from the Lion, or the decision to drone from Chosen that perhaps wasn't communicated, either way, one of those 2 players lost the round for them, and West Garfield are up 4-0. Wichita Wolves Academy need these next 2 rounds if they want to keep this map in, really just in winnable range. If they go down 5-1 here, especially with the way they've been playing on their attack so far, it's really troubling.
Yeah, it's not unheard of, to go a 4-2 on the defensive side on Villa. Actually, that's, quite common, but it doesn't look like we're on the way to see a 4-2 half. Wichita Wolves Academy have not shown us that they can take these rounds, that they can close out these rounds, and they've got to do it now. This is their last chance to really solidify that 4-2 half if they want. Right now, they are just going to work their way on this clear, entering from this trophy and statuary side of the map and working their way across. Everyone else on the side of the defense has, slowly been forced away or has been forced to retreat downstairs. Psychosis, instead of going all the way down, has positioned himself on the red stairs for the time being. But Rudy is sneaking around downstairs in kitchen. He no longer has a C4 in pocket, as he's already wasted that one and found nothing with it, but he does have an SMG-11, and with the 6 kills he's already found, he is likely on the hunt for more. The question is Wichita Wolves Academy aware of this? They are aware of Psychosis in his position, so Skunky will find the killing blow onto the Wamai on the red stairs, but no, they had no idea that Rudy was just crouch walking up the Astro stairs. He will do so for free. He'll lose a little bit of HP, but he will get a kill right back onto the Lion.
So that's something we've seen a few times so far in this map from West Garfield, their ability to just show up somewhere in Wichita Wolves Academy, being unable to stop them. And I don't know whether, again, that's a team cohesion issue, not having proper flank watch set up or what have you. But either way, it's a problem that's going to need to be fixed, especially as Barring now descends red stairs, killing PKers on his way. What wasn't even man count is now in the favor of the defense, and you've got a downstairs player that TrevMac has to deal with. That's Rudy in Memo, who's going to be able to sprint back up red despite being under the watchful eye of the Finka. TrevMac is going to go hunting. He'll find the 1, but has no idea Barring is still lingering where he had killed the Hibana. Once again, 1-man advantage here for the defense, and 20 seconds remaining for Big Guy and Chosen to try and push in, and they're on opposite sides. The Sledge will come in, and he'll lose his fight to Biologic, and that's just the Ash coming in from 90. He's got a mirror window to try and play around. Forrest is watching it like a hawk, and there's the kill actually from Barring, who comes up for the assist by main stairs. West Garfield now 5 rounds in a row.
They look unstoppable. Frankly, they have been chaining these rounds together, and even when they're making a couple of mistakes, they have a couple of players just sitting on the site who are ready to just, equalize those mistakes and quickly remedy them. We've seen that from Psychosis, we've seen that from Rudy, but since then, we maybe see an occasional round where that happens. Other than that, it is West Garfield all the way. They're doing a fantastic job of just exploiting every single weakness that this attacking side is showcasing. One of those big weaknesses right now is information. Their intel game is in shambles, and that last round was a perfect example of what happens when you have no intel at all. They had no idea, one, that there was somebody sneaking around behind them. I believe it was Rudy on the mute, who snuck up the Astro stairs and shot someone in the back of the head. That was after they used intel properly to kill the player on the red stairs, sure. But from there, speaking of the red stairs, we saw another issue with a lack of intel. Somebody was creeping down below, trying to deal with Rudy on those stairs, and they got him. They got that kill. But nobody had thrown a drone out or called the fact that Barring was also sitting right behind him on the red stairs to play that trade. Simple things like that. Astro Stairs flank is one of the most common flanks on the top floor of Villa in the game, in the map. how are you not going to have something prepared for that? If you're not going to bring the Nomad up until now, why not throw a drone on there? Have somebody staffing that. Have somebody monitoring that angle, or at least listening for the sound of a mute sneaking up behind. Either way, information, clearly a problem. They're going to try to remedy that by bringing out the Nomad. Skunky will be bringing out those air jabs, and maybe they can deny the flank a little bit, but they're making an adjustment now with the only possibility is that they can get one round back. Is that too little too late?
It really might be, considering how momentum-based pug stacks tend to be. If the vibes are high, they can be unstoppable. We've seen it from Juicers. We saw it from West Garfield, both in the last standalone tournament. We saw it from Aerial Arise Academy coming out of nowhere and making fourth, well, tied third, fourth in our last stage. And right now, West Garfield look unstoppable. Wichita Wolves Academy have not found an answer in the last 5 rounds, and perhaps we'll have 6 in a row unless they really get their act together. They're going to start with clearing downstairs. There's not many players for them to find. Maybe one, I think I just see right on the silhouette. I think there's only one player down there. Barring... Well, okay, Psychosis is there for the assist. So there's 2 people down there, but they're not actively challenging the dining area. So maybe Wichita Wolves Academy's, initial utility clear from below will be relatively uncontested. They just have to be ready and waiting for Barring and Psychosis to pounce.
Right, something that West Garfield have done really well is they're not dying on the initial, entry in that clear. They're doing a great job of backing off slowly, forcing Wichita Wolves to take their time, but backing off safely regardless. And then, when they just see that little opening, those very defenders who a moment ago backed off, they will step up in a big way and hunt for a kill. That's exactly what Psychosis is doing right now. He sees a bit of a gap here. He's going for the flank up the pantry stairs. Nobody watching the window. No flank drone in a position, and TrevMac, he's tunnel vision on getting these nades up towards the floor below. Psychosis won't even get the chance because Barring was also going for the same play, and TrevMac has no support from any of his teammates. Unusual.
Wait,
that
they
he
have
has
a
nobody
Nomad
there with him, and both players will be able to rotate away safely.
They literally have a Nomad. Okay, I don't know where the air jabs are. I mean, they'll finally get a trade on a Psychosis, but with a Nomad like that, that should not have been as free a flank as it was. Biologic will narrowly avoid the second nade, though his shield will be cleared, and there's the peek that we need from Skunky on Astro Window. So a man advantage, nevertheless, for Wichita Wolves Academy, as they now look to take Astro control and set up for this execute. Rudy is backed off all the way into Boar, Barring establishing himself in statuary as Forrest goes down. It's a 4 versus 2, but here's the Jaeger. He'll find one. Can't turn around and find the second, though. Are we going to see another 1v3 from Rudy? 7 seconds left. The plant needs to go down from PKers. Big guy will get destroyed by Rudy on the peak. Now 1 versus 2. No C4 in hand for the mute. This is just going to have to be gunfights from him to clutch up, but he'll get caught. Skunky with his second kill, and Wichita Academy, after 6, will finally find their first round.
Finally, we can see Wichita Academy, calming down, getting things controlled, and getting the bomb on the floor. Refreshing, to say the least, to see them kind of relax and stay composed in that, I think it was another 3v1 situation. They got the bomb down, they covered the planter instead of seeking that fight and risking their lives in 1v1 after 1v1 after 1v1. They've taken a round, not really a result of any better intel or any denial of flanks, but really just more of onto classic on-site play and pretty good methodical clear. The use of the Astro window, something we always talk about, especially when it's absent from attacking teams. We highlight how important it is to get somebody on that Astro window, which basically cuts off the entire site. Nobody can rotate freely into Astro. Contesting bathroom is no longer an option. You can't rotate between trophy and statuary for free anymore. And if the master triple wall is already opened up and making statuary basically just a death trap for any defender, then you can pretty much destroy any defender who is, trying to rotate out of there as well. So great job from Wichita Academy to get that done. They only have taken 1 round, though, on the attack, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be enough. Unless they can just buckle down and just pull out something crazy on the defensive side, it does still feel like a West Garfield map, but only time will tell as we can kind of throw out the mistakes that Wichita Academy made in that first half. Maybe they can use this as a mental reset because they're headed into the second half. They're switching over to the defense, and now it's West Garfield's responsibility to get things going on the offensive side.
Yeah, I mean, one, we've seen heavily defense-favored villas before, and two, like I said, the attack tends to be a little bit of a harder side for pug stacks most of the time, so West Garfield might not be as potent in the second half as they were on the first, but it's still going to fall, I think, onto Wichita Wolves Academy to really step up their game. That's going to start with Trevmac on Ella. Now with the Scorpion in hand, Grismont Mines to assist. He's playing on red stairs as the rest of Wichita Wolves Academy sit over, I believe, on site. No, it looks like there's actually plenty of downstairs players. Chosen and Big Guy, both on the first floor, with Trevmac kind of on that connector, helping them maybe covering for a retreat. But as the boar wall gets opened, West Garfield is going to try and establish that crossfire on the red stairs and initiate the clear as Forrest will actually crouch walk into the basement and be going on the hunt for these roamers.
And Psychosis as well. I mean, they know there's somebody lurking around, especially as they work their way on this clear and as they get into 90 Hall. But again, the danger, like you said, Harrison, is a C4. It could line up several players, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Big Guy with 2, a double kill onto Bio and Psychosis. Trevmac with a finisher onto Forrest as well. It's Barring and Rudy last alive. Really well timed from Big Guy down below. It looks like that roam clear you highlighted, it came just a little too late. You see Barring trying to see if he can put a hand on where Big Guy has now relocated to. Rudy maybe trying to provide that cutoff, but without 3 of their teammates and most of their utility in the game taken away, this one is going to be a challenge to say the least. Rudy will now contest the Classical Hall shield, and that's not going to be happening for very long as PK will fry him. Barring will get 1 back as he finally removes Big Guy, and the one who really decimated this round for the West Garfield attack has been taken off the board, but it is still Barring in a 1 versus 4. Spots out the Vault player, can't quite land the bullets there. Will work his way around towards Study. And I mean, he's got 12 kills. If there's anyone you want in this situation, it's someone who's proven he can be quite a fragger, but no one really, no matter their skill, is going to have an easy time. When you've got an Ella sitting around the corner, Barring will clean that kill up anyway. Good body shot there because the Ella was already low on HP, so now Barring will slip into the site. Knows there's someone in Vault, so he'll go for the pre-fire there. Skunky will match his pre-fire with a spray of his own, and Skunky will be the one to find the headshot.
Yeah, and I mean, really, that round came down to the perfectly timed C4 from Big Guy down below. The clear from West Garfield looked well put together, right? They had the proper utility being sent over towards red stairs to clear. The nade was soon to follow up. You even had Forrest coming from upstairs to pinch the Ella while the Ella was trying to escape. But man, that C4 came in clutch. Big Guy, quite simply, could not have timed that better. Not only did he get 2 kills, but it was enough for the Ella to drop down, slam Forrest as well, coming up from the basement. And at that point, the round was pretty much over. It was 1 on the clear. So well done to Big Guy and the rest of Wichita Wolves Academy for taking their second round. And Jonah, perhaps 2 rounds in a row, 1 like that is enough to put the momentum in the back pocket of the Wolves. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be like the Wichita Wolves Academy, like West Garfield, featured on our stream playing against ex-Pro League talent, current T2 talent, the top of T3, etc. You can sign up for next weekend's qualifier. So if you would like to play, if you have already lost out on qual number 1, fear not, there is a second one, and it's just around the corner. It is next weekend from the 14th to 16th. It's going to be the same format, Swiss, leading into the single elimination group style playoffs, where you can qualify for stage 2, compete for $5,000 and a coveted spot at the Pro-Am to compete against your favorite T1 teams. So don't delay, ! Play for more info and for the sign-up link. And you can be casted by the likes of me and Jonah, or Carter and Benny, or CJ and Connor. Any 6 of us. You'll be on stream, and we'll make fun of you for making dumb plays.
And
one more.
I mean,
what else?
We also have a little bit of a maybe a bit of a casting surprise in store. Maybe a little bit of a Kiwi casting surprise in store in the next qualifier. So if you want to be casted by some wonderful New Zealand talent, Blue Panda.
Oh yeah.
Goated.
And Cthulhu.
Also tune in. Yeah.
Who's
Cthulhu.
Russian.
Yeah.
Just like Ferme.
Exactly.
Oh, maybe we can hear them speak Russian to each other on broadcast.
That would be fantastic. Hey, that could be you. Cast it in Russian. Wouldn't that be thrilling? Again, yeah, that is next week. It's hopefully going to be a lot of fun. If you've tuned into this qualifier, make sure you check out the signups for the next one. I believe !play in Twitch chat will get you all the information you need there. But back to the game at hand. We are just about 60 seconds into this round, and not a ton of progress has been made here from this West Garfield attack, but, you know, they're not facing a ton of pressure from this defense just yet. We can see the outlines of 4 players all on that north side, but you've got 1 player lurking below. That's going to be Skunky, the Mute, with a C4 in pocket. I do believe either that C4 is pre-placed or already expended, so maybe he'll have to find his impact elsewhere, but, I mean, he'll be able to maybe work a bit of a flank. There is no Nomad in play after all, and you know, if the first half taught us anything, at that these teams could be susceptible to these flanks if not careful.
Yeah, judging by the utility overlay, if it's correct, Skunky has already used it. I didn't hear an explosion, but maybe he just used it really, really early on while we weren't watching. Forrest will send a nade in trying to clear a corner, be unsuccessful. Barring will just blitz into the site. He'll find one, Psychosis another. There's a second for the Zoe. Chosen gets 1 kill in the bathroom. That's the Hibana dead, but that's not the case carrier. Psychosis finds the trade. Bio's planting, and here he comes, trying to find his third. Skunky to hold off the Iana will find it, but he's still in a 1 versus 3 with barely any HP left, and now in a post plant. What an execute from West Garfield, seeing the hole and capitalizing perfectly, though Barring won't capitalize on the low HP Mute, missing literally every single shot, but he doesn't get past Biologic, who's hiding behind the statue, and what looked like could potentially be the start of a comeback for Wichita Wolves Academy will promptly be ended by West Garfield as they put themselves on map point.
It is map point, but it is not quite, you know, match point or series point just yet. If you tuned into the previous days of qualifiers, those have all been best of 1s, but here in the closed quals, we are doing best of 3s. We've got 16 teams, and if they win 2 best of 3s, they are making stage 2 of SCS. So no matter what happens here on Villa, the outcome that we might be able to predict at this point, Wichita Wolves Academy, they are still in the mix. They can go to our next map, which is going to be Oregon, and they can bounce back if they can. I mean, and same thing goes for West Garfield. If Wichita Wolves Academy pull out some sort of a miraculous comeback here, it's not out of the question for either team, because this is, after all, a best of 3. We've got 2 best of 3 series coming your way this evening. But yes, it is now map point. West Garfield, after a very nice attack there, a strong execute, looking for the smallest opening, and when they found it, they pounced. They sprinted on into that site. You had Psychosis and Barring at the helm of that push. Barring, I believe, just from that statuary door. Psychosis from the master door, pushing in, taking fights, and winning them. Barring right now with 15 kills. And I know that PKers on the side of Wichita Wolves Academy, I know he likes bagels, but it's not him I'm talking about here. It is Forrest, who's on a donut right now, or a bagel. 0 kills for him, yet to find the scoreboard, but thankfully for Forrest, I mean, and for West Garfield as a whole, everyone right now is contributing and putting up some numbers, Barring especially dropping 15 so far, and we're only 8 rounds in. Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, that is nearly a 2.0 KD. Or, sorry, 2.0 KPR. He's actually got over a 2.0 KD. He has a 2.5 KD right now. Like you said, Barring has been doing very well for himself. Little bar. His team leading 6-2. And Wichita Wolves Academy, we thought they had a concrete response. They had strung 2 rounds in a row, but their streak has been swiftly put to rest. And now they face the added pressure of facing map point. We have a little bit of a swap from West Garfield as well. Biologic offline onto Dokkaby, who brings those phone calls, so a little bit more active info. Brings, of course, stuns for burn and a Gone 6 for utility clear if you'd like, and that might come in handy here with Trevmac playing this shield by Lamp. So there's not really a lot covering it. It's really just this Aruni gate. The Zofia or the Dokkaby could clear it by themselves, and Trevmac is going to say, all right, they've already done away, or they're about to do away with this utility. I might as well fall back now, which of course is the correct decision. So a little bit of utility wasted, not a whole lot of time. Of course, you do still have Skunky down below though with that C4, but if West Garfield choose to push in fast again, that C4 might not have a whole lot of usefulness.
Well, barring as well, he may be just looking to push on in yet again. Much like last round, he is already just in the middle of the site here. He'll get one. TrevMac just not paying attention, but Big Guy is there to find the trade. Chosen will also get one at the same time, taking down Rudy. So it will be West Garfield on the back foot here. Forrest trying to find the scoreboard and bring things back for his team, but a pre-fire is not going to land more than one bullet, and PKers off screen will take down Psychosis as well. A 2v4 for Bio and Forrest, and right now with a minute to go, they've got a good bit of time to work with. Bio does have a drone as well, but they've got to be careful because a couple of these defenders are lurking elsewhere, but it looks like they put their finger on Chosen pretty quickly. They found his position and they dealt with him. Now it's Bio's turn to step on up. A look to get something going in the site. There is a little bit of a flank happening potentially from that boar landing. That's going to be PK on the smoke. He'll go for the swing and Bio will somehow get out of that alive. Now he'll go prone, avoiding the shotgun. PK has no idea, and there he goes. A 4v2, now a 2v2, as West Garfield have worked their way back into this one. Skunky now on the long angle, trying to get something going. Another flank now in play from Big Guy, who's taken up PKer's position. Forrest knows that, and so does Bio. Now they're going to turn their attention to the site, maybe turn to objective focus and try to get this bomb down. No C4 from Skunky, so Bio's going to do this, and Forrest on the coverage. He does have to cover two angles, though. He's got to cover the statuary door, and he's got to cover the other side, and they'll do so perfectly. Forrest hops up, gets one. Bio pops off the diffuser and closes them down, and that is the map. A 2v4. Once again, West Garfield cannot lose these rounds. They'll take map 1.
I can't believe West Garfield just won that. Initially, Barring goes in fast. He gets one pick on the TrevMac, but West Garfield, they don't get the jump on the Wichita Wolves Academy members. Except for TrevMac, the rest of them were pretty well adjusted and prepared to handle the fast execute. It ends up being a 2 versus 4 as West Garfield pump on the brakes, but they still win the round because Wichita Wolves Academy don't know when to stop pushing. Chosen, you're already 1 HP. You hear the Finka drop master, and yet he engages LMG versus Roni, and he loses that because of course he does. He's 1 HP. Then you have PKers in Boar. First of all, if you're gonna play that close, have the shotgun out. Second of all, he whiffs his entire SMG-11 mag, which he really shouldn't have done. That should have been the freest kill of his life. Third of all, after missing all of the shots, he gets aggressive and peeks out instead of playing on sight. He gets aggressive and throws his life away to Bio and throws away the man advantage. Now it's a 2 versus 2, and the Jaeger, instead of holding across insight, decides to flank further, doesn't catch anyone, leaves Skunky pretty much alone in Astro Split. Wichita Wolves Academy are, in a word, disappointing so far. This is not the level of play that we're used to seeing from them. We used to see them as not someone who has necessarily qualified for our leagues in the past, but still a very formidable team in qualifiers, always making it to the last round, always being this close. But they have, it looks like they perhaps have degraded a bit.
At least on Villa. We know West Garfield is strong on Villa because we saw it in the standalone tourney. West Garfield put up some serious numbers on this map against arguably much stronger teams than Wichita Wolves Academy. So map 1 will not go their way. We've got Oregon, though, coming up next, and that should be an exciting one to watch. Before we do that, though, another shout out to one of our amazing sponsors, Mavix Gaming Chairs. An interesting tidbit. Last night I was talking to my friend Howard, showing him our product here at SCS, and he was like, wait a minute, Mavix is one of your sponsors. I actually already own a Mavix chair, and he's not even a gamer. He just works a 9 to 5 grinding it out. These chairs are incredibly comfortable. I think that can attest to it. Someone who doesn't even game, who's sitting for a long period of time, wants to rock a Mavix gaming chair, and heck, you should rock one too. You can get yours for as low as $22 a month with monthly installments, and on top of all that, you can use your NSG discount to save $55. Use code NSG55 incredible chairs, incredible savings, all of that at mavix.com. That is mavix.com/NerdStreetGamers. So take a look at that during this break. When we come back, we've got Oregon, map 2 of this first round of the closed qualifiers. We'll be back in a moment.
B3, make that a 1v2.
2 seconds left. It's going to come down.
Favor making a third as he puts up. Make it up. He finds the drop. 3. Stunning here from...
Welcome to the NerdStreet Winter Championships, featuring SCS6, a yearly open tournament series hosting the best players and teams North America has to offer, culminating in a community favorite, the Pro-Am. So let's discuss format. During the Winter Champs season, SCS6 will consist of 2 stages, where each stage begins with 2 open qualifiers. Once Stage 1 is complete, there will be an additional tournament offering 1 more qualification spot prior to Stage 2. Through participating in SCS6, players will acquire leaderboard points and cash prizing. The winning teams from Stage 1 and 2, as well as the additional tournament, will qualify for the Pro-Am. The top 2 teams from the leaderboard will also qualify. As we approach the end of the season, the final qualification spot will be determined through a last chance qualifier. The Grand Finals of the Winter Champs SCS6 will feature the return of the Pro-Am, where the top amateur teams have an opportunity to define their talent against the North American Pro League. But in the end, only one team will be crowned Winter Champs. Sign up today and make history.
Make that a 1v2.
2 seconds left. It's going to come down.
Favor making a third as he puts up. Make it up. He finds the drop. 3. Stunning here from...
Harrison, map 1 was not as close as I think we thought it would be.
No.
Villa, pretty much a blowout. West Garfield, 7-2, very clean victory over Wichita Wolves Academy, who had so many chances, and let those chances just slip through their grasp.
Yeah, there were plenty of rounds where Wichita Wolves would have the advantage. I mean, rounds 1, round 2, plenty. And they were just unable to transition it into a round win, be it a single misplay that ends up completely throwing the round away, or West Garfield coming up out of nowhere with someone just having a stellar performance like Rudy in that initial 1v3. They were certainly not the team that we are used to seeing. But now moving on to Oregon, hey, maybe Wichita Wolves Academy are going to have a better time on this map. We know that they do like this map, but so do West Garfield. We saw them take down a couple pretty tough teams in the standalone tournament on this map as well, because they played Villa in Oregon quite a bit. I think they only lost Oregon to Juicers, right? I think did they beat Wichita Wolves on this map, or was this one of the maps they lost?
Honestly, I don't know. We've seen too much
I
Oregon.
can't
it's all
remember.
blurring together.
Yeah, there's been a lot of these, but Wichita Wolves Academy will do what their opponent did on the last map and ban Thatcher. Again, popular ban on every single map for very good reason. He makes those defender electronic utilities just kind of bust, and they're down just like that, with the ease of a single grenade. Hibana, the next, if you're going to ban a hard breacher on this map, it's typically going to be her. The Thatcher's already out, so Maverick, not as popular, but sometimes we do see Maverick Thatcher bans. But this is pretty much going to guarantee that the Maverick is banned, or the Maverick is played every single round, especially if Wichita Wolves Academy leave up the Cade.
Yes, usually we see the Mira band in combination with the Valkyrie. The Kaid, I mean, probably going to be left up here if I'm not crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely right. These teams do not want to deal with the Mira either, and that is completely understandable. The Mira, especially, I mean, on Oregon, especially that basement site, becomes incredibly challenging to deal with, and already on a map that requires so much utility clear and often a good bit of patience. If you have those black mirrors in play, it adds to that, threefold. It really changes how you have to play it as an attacking team, and that is exactly why these teams will not be bringing the Mira into play at all. Again, the Valkyrie is gone. 2 maps in a row where we don't see a Valkyrie or a Thatcher. The Hibana gone is different from Villa. We saw the Flores band instead, and that does mean we do have the possibility of seeing those Rotero drones come into play. It's possible, it seems, but we're not going to have that in round number 1. Instead, as West Garfield begin things on their attacking side, we're going to see a pretty stock standard lineup. Nothing too out of the ordinary. The Thermite is going to come out as one of those hard breachers, and the Maverick will come out as well. Forrest rocking that. And already, Harrison, we are not off to the best start for Wichita Wolves Academy. Chosen going to take his own impact to the face.
Yeah, that's not great, especially if he wanted to save those impacts for creating rotations on the upstairs while roaming. They are reinforcing part of the meeting wall, so perhaps there's going to be some roamage. Yeah, you have Trevmac opening and rotate into attic, so at the very least, I imagine this alibi is going to be upstairs. There's actually, okay, the mute is going to be assisting with jammers in kitchen. Skunky rocking the MP5K rather than the shotgun, meaning he wants to get a little bit more aggressive than we're used to seeing those SMG-11 players get. Hopefully, Wichita Wolves Academy are a little more well-versed on this map than they were on Villa, because otherwise we're in for a pretty swift 2-0. Like you said, West Garfield are bringing that Thermite. He tends to be the premier hard breacher on this map right after the Hibana, so the Maverick likely going to be supporting him opening a lot of those walls. But on this side, of course, it's mainly hatch-centric. There's really nothing to stop the Thermite from opening those hatches, so we might not see the Maverick as useful on that side of things. Maybe we'll just see him do things like open up the single wall downstairs, open up elbow, stuff like that. But the drones right now hunting down Chosen, who already is on low HP. He might be susceptible to this roam clear more so than his other teammates.
Yeah, Chosen is, I mean, now in a tough spot in the classic corner by kids' dorms, just pinned here. If anyone spots him out, he is probably going to be dealt with pretty quickly, but it seems that West Garfield are taking their time. They don't want to be caught off guard by another roamer potentially also on that top floor, and at the same time, they're going to put a lot of resources into dealing with this clear from below. They know that they can guarantee the kill onto Chosen if they can prevent his cutoff down the hatch, and well, it's not going to go too well to start. Trevmac is actually the one to get the opening blow, and now Psychosis walks himself into the middle of a crossfire. He'll fall. Rudy will get a trade though, but Trevmac is now on a triple as he whips his way around towards the shower corridor and dusts Rudy where he stands. Chosen now, who was basically a dead man earlier, will come back from the grave and deal with Bio, leaving Forrest alone in a 1v4.
That was maybe the most awkward set of engagements I've ever seen in Kitchen. That made no sense. And Forrest is probably about to get blindsided by Trev. There we go. It's a 4K for the Alibi, who did not have a great map on Villa. We even saw him completely whiff on a Jaeger, who had no idea he was there 5 feet in front of him, but he's going to start off this map on a 4K. Oh, okay. So Chosen walked up to the wall and tried to put down a bulletproof cam, but he had impacts. That's why he impacted himself. That was a little bit unfortunate, but he was still able to make it work on the roam, right? He was still able to get one of those kills on those clearers. West Garfield attempting to just kind of push dry into Kitchen against the Alibi. That was definitely a result of lack of info. Maybe those mute jammers really coming in clutch from Skunky, but either way, Trevmac blindsiding the first player, The second of, I think, Psychosis on the Finca playing like Ring Around the Rosie around the center island for like 15 seconds, fighting not only Trevmac peeking him, but also Skunky spamming through the wall. Trev eventually picks up that kill because Psychosis has no idea where to look, and from there the roam clear completely falls apart as they continue to push doorways into angles held by the defenders. So well done on the roam to Wichita Wolves Academy. Well done to Trevmac for his opening 4K. And now we head on to dorms with Wichita Wolves Academy 1-0. Already, with 50% of the rounds they had on Villa.
An impressive start, no question about that, especially, you know, the way they won that round was with a very successful roam. Maybe less of a roam and more of just a simple extension, extending all the way up into kitchen. It was a basement site after all. It's not a roam that, you know, we are that, like, it's not a stranger to us, that roam, but it is unusual to see it work that well. It was really well executed, and they did a good job of allowing Chosen on the top floor to rotate back safely, like you talked about, Harrison, and you know, fight with the team, getting a frag as well. I mean, very impressive given the situation he started the round in. But here we are on round number 2, and we can no longer head towards the basement, but that doesn't mean we're not going to see a very similar kitchen extension. On this top floor, after all, kitchen is still a vital place to hold down if you want to prevent the attacking team from working their way in from below and providing a little bit of vertical pressure of their own. For now, though, that is not going to be West Garfield's plan of attack. They have already swung their way into Arsenal. That's Bio's role on the sledge, and they are looking to just get this pressure building on the site as early as possible. Bio will have to be wary of the shots coming from tower, but Big Guy is going to have to be wary of Psychosis. Where was Psychosis?
I think Big Window?
Big Window?
Yeah.
He just swings Big Window and takes a player down on the rotate. Big Guy just not paying quite enough attention to his surroundings.
Yeah, Psychosis playing on those slits in the barricade that were either opened by the defense previously or that he had stealthily opened himself. Either way, they catch Big Guy off guard, and here come the Incandelas blinding those anchors. In comes the C4, though, but it's shot right in front of Rudy's face. He'll get the bomb down. What immaculate cover, I believe, from the Ying, but somehow Rudy is going to, for some reason, try and put an exothermic charge on the wall post-plant. PKers gets his own kill. Bio refrags to make it a 3-on-3, but in comes the Jaeger of Trevmac, easily finishing off that sledge. Baring is going to have to get on the rappel and try and deny this counter defuse. The nade from below isn't going to land. Oh no, this is a free round. No, PKers dies. We're going to have another attempt. Chosen gets on it. Trevmac will cover adequately, though, and Wichita Wolves Academy take their second round in a row, again amongst quite the chaotic set of engagements.
Yeah, it's chaos. It's kind of awkward in the middle round there, especially, I mean, after the bomb goes down, what in the world were West Garfield doing? I mean, trying to get the exothermic charge down on the wall, I mean, I get why, kinda.
Funny.
You're trying to like get some more coverage, see a couple of more angles to work with. But yeah, I mean, it was quite funny because he didn't have coverage. Normally, you'd have a lot of coverage to do that, but I guess he figured it's the post plant. We just got the bomb down. No way a defender is going to be up in my face. But there he was. There goes your thermite. Nobody was on the coverage, and so that gave master control and closet control firmly to the defense, and that retake became, I mean, incredibly easy to get done because West Garfield had been forced away from what are typically known as those more, you know, strong power positions. They didn't have time to get on the rappel, to go downstairs and contest that from below. It was definitely a disjointed execute and a disjointed post plant from West Garfield. That's 2 rounds kind of back to back where we've seen this clumsy attack, not something that we saw at all on Villa on either side of the coin. Defense, attack, West Garfield, they looked clean and tidy, but here on Oregon, things will come off to a rocky start.
Now we've got dining for Wichita Wolves Academy, and it's looking like the old frozen supernova setup with the shields inside of small tower, Goyo shields to be exact, the crossfire being established again via shields through the dining wall into bottom small, making this a tough position for the attack to try and clear out. Plenty of shields, plenty of utility dedicated. In fact, actually, all the shields facing the west side, the last one, of course, being over towards the Showers Hall. But West Garfield, for the most part, I believe, spawned on the other side of the map, so they might be going for a kitchen plant, in which case the entire strategy from Wichita Wolves will be null and void. But Rudy, in fact, gets an early one, spamming through the window, either spamming through the window or catching Trevmac on a spawn peak. The Goyo dies in Green Hall, and that is a C4 down. In fact, the only C4 down very early on.
And that player, the Goyo, I mean, always a core component of any sort of small tower extension. Probably why we're no longer going to see any defender staffing that extension any longer. Now that they know where West Garfield are approaching from, and it is not the small tower side, this defense is going to be forced to rotate around and contest this attack from elsewhere. Because Trevmac has been dealt with in that Green Hall. That gave Forrest the opportunity to actually work his way all the way up Green Hall to get a nade off. And he also can confirm that it is safe for Rudy to get that exothermic charge down and into the mix. That wall has now been opened, and an opportunity to push into Kitchen is probably close around the corner. They will still have to deal with the pressure from above, though. Can't always leave that exposed, because if somebody is, like Big Guy, is the Frost or Chosen, can peek down through those floor holes, then there's no chance that plant is going to go off without a hit. That's Psychosis's job here, trying to prevent somebody from stepping into Kids, but maybe he doesn't know there's somebody already in that position. Regardless, we're going to see a bit of an execute coming down here for West Garfield. Psychosis will take one, and Forrest will deal with PKers, and there goes Psychosis rolling through in Kids, getting the most important kill of the round. Baya will get the last kill right after Skunky gets one back, but a much cleaner execute from West Garfield, enabled heavily by some expert play from Psychosis up above.
Yeah, that round was really well played by West Garfield. That was a beautiful adjustment to move over towards the meeting side of things. Wichita Wolves Academy, it looked like, just dedicated a little too much towards the small tower side. I mean, you could see they were only able to reposition a single shield back towards that side. One, because the other players weren't in range to, and two, because the Goyo was dead, so he couldn't pick up his shields again. There was nothing on the wall, no mute jammer, no nothing that could have stopped that breaching charge. The players upstairs were unable to do their job because Psychosis caught Chosen mid-rotate, and the Frost lost his gunfight. Again, to Psychosis. So really good top floor clear from the Iana at the same time as the execute. I don't know how Forrest was able to simply sprint into security from the breach, but he was, and that took out another key crossfire on the site. West Garfield just covered pretty much every single angle they needed to. They even had someone coming in from the back from small tower towards the end of the round at the exact right time. And Wichita Wolves Academy did not have enough dedicated towards that side of the map to stop him. So now we're in 2-1. Not terrible territory for either team. This is pretty much what you expect. Wichita Wolves Academy winning the two primary defenses. West Garfield taking the offsite, and Dining is certainly the least played on this map. I don't think that can really be argued. But Wichita Wolves are going to go back down to the basement, where West Garfield hadn't touched in the previous attempt. Remember, every single person died on that roam clear, and Wichita Wolves Academy have this roam set up once again.
I mean, yeah, they're going to try to contest Kitchen heavily again. They're going to put a lot of stock into just delaying as much as they can. And, I mean, if it's anything like the first round, not only delaying, but collecting several kills as West Garfield try to make their entry. The only question in my mind now is West Garfield going to, walk into that extension and try to clear it out like last time, risking a lot of time and, in many cases, their lives? Or are they going to try to circumvent that and go for a more direct approach? I mean, there's very little utility over towards blue and over towards a bunker and a potential, elbow execute right now. But West Garfield, they are still going to commit to this full clear. I mean, they're going to enter through this top floor. Psychosis and Bio will be doing that in tandem, trying to make sure nobody is on that top floor all the way up. And eventually that will lead into a second floor clear, or at least a main floor clear. There will be one player, though, trying to slow down this top floor pressure, and that's going to be Chosen, maybe working a bit of a tower stairs flank.
We'll see if West Garfield have anything set up for it. It looks like Psychosis is maybe watching down Attic. As Barring continues to clear through Kitchen. Oh, he was actually using the Iana clone. He will spot out that roamer and pre-fire through the meeting wall, attempting to maybe catch anyone rotating down the tower stairs, but will settle to just hop on a drone and continue to scope things out to make way for Barring. Chosen is prone behind the metal box, however. Will Psychosis' drone check it? No, it won't in time. Skunky is able to catch it. Here comes the Zoe, but he'll be able to take the head off of the mute, and up comes the Malusi at the wrong time. He'll have to settle for just a little bit of damage on Rudy and a dead teammate before he skates away. Ill-timed double push in tower from the defense will result in the death of the mute, and a C4, again, the only C4, off the table with less than a minute to go.
Now West Garfield have the control they need, and Now it's just about turning their attention to the site itself. Their time is limited, and they still have a lot of utility to go up against. Thankfully for them, there's one fewer player to actually encounter. Unfortunately for them, though, Bio will fall. PKers on that smoke will continue to frag out, and Forrest will actually end up getting flashed. Doesn't seem to matter, though. He'll step up and take one player down, but here comes Wichita Wolves. Chosen lines 2 up, and everyone on West Garfield will fall back to back to back. There's the round, and the defenders will take it.
Okay. Wichita Wolves, namely Chosen, really holding on to Pillar. After his blunder in Small Tower that really killed Skunky there, West Garfield attempt a pretty split push, right? It was one coming down Laundry, I don't remember who it was, one coming down Freezer, that was Psychosis, and 3 attempting to drop E-Box and push Tower Stairs. First of all, the Laundry player got smoked by PKers. Excellent shot from him to take out that point of entry for the attack. Now you're left with just Freezer and Tower without actually ever taking pillar control. So Chosen was still there. Frozen drops in and gets a swing onto PKers, but he doesn't want to get trapped in the middle of the site, so he goes back out after Chosen already kills like 2 other people despite being stunned on the tower stairs. And that was just down to West Garfield really not hitting their shots on that Malusi. That was really strange, and Forrest was just way too low HP to try and fight back. Meanwhile, you have the Jaeger just doing what he does best over towards Freezer and winning his fight against Psychosis. And I think the attack in general was just kind of, it was too spread out from West Garfield, especially considering that they did not have Pillar. So not only was it spread out, but they didn't really have the control to make a spread out attack like that work all that well. So now we're 3-1. Wichita Wolves Academy, once again, take the primary site. Now they go back onto dorms. This is the only round that West Garfield actually got the plant down in, and it was not successful. Their post plant was thwarted. Honestly, it looked pretty fluidly from Wichita Wolves Academy.
I mean, that's kind of been, it's been the theme for Wichita Wolves Academy in the last couple of rounds here. It's been fluid for them. It's been chaotic for West Garfield. That's kind of the dichotomy we're dealing with right now. And if West Garfield want to get some of these rounds back, I don't think that chaotic strategy has been working for them, whether that's been a strategy or simply a mistake. They've got to start tidying things up and, working a little bit better as a team right now. And so far, they're working their way into the building, much like last time, but Rudy won't be able to get this exothermic charge down because there are 2 mute jammers, not just one on the wall. He's trying to find the spot if that solo single mute jammer wouldn't cover it, but there's double mute jammers, so there's no shot that he is going to be able to get that one down. Big Guy is also attempting a possible Electro Claw trick as well. He knows that the exothermic charge is going down. He can hear it being placed and then can picked up and then placed again. But Chosen will actually be the first frag on the board. The Alibi, maybe getting a bit too aggressive, will fall to Forrest, who gets that opening blow. So Forrest will start to, continue to pick things up, and Psychosis will also do so, taking down Skunky. Big Guy still challenging on this game's window, eager for a fight.
Yeah, we saw Skunky downstairs earlier, actually hunting down the Iana, who is, of course, tasked with clearing utility from below, but it ends up being the mute to die, and now it's a 5v3 in the favor of West Garfield. Bio is just in the middle of the site, sprinting through Attic, because no one's covering it. He gets the kill on the anchor inside. Trevmac downstairs grabs one. PKers on the site, another, but Trevmac can't come back to the site safely. Now it's just the smoke. He downs Barring. We're in a 1v2. It's extremely doable, but he doesn't expect Rudy to already be in kids, and he dies in the rotate. West Garfield able to take norms away from the Wolves, and now it's 3-2.
An important round for West Garfield, because that one right there essentially secured the attacking half for them. At the very least, they can say, okay, we got our 2 rounds and we got the job done. More often than not, Oregon is going to be that defensive-sided map that we all know and love, or sometimes hate. But regardless, 2 rounds is a job well done. A 3rd would be a bonus, and that's what they're going to be looking forward to now. They've got another opportunity at attacking dorms. The first time they got the plant down, but they couldn't close it down in the post plant. The second time, it looked a lot cleaner. The pattern continues. We may see an even more dominant round for them, but now it's time for Wichita Wolves to make some adjustments of their own. We just saw in the last round how it seemed that they maybe got a bit too aggressive for their own good. They started losing those early picks, and even though Big Guy, was holding in a very important position, trying to electric that wall, trying to deny that breach from ever being opened, everyone else kind of crumbled around him. And eventually, because there was no coverage on the site, the manpower dwindled in such a way that Bio was able to walk in and just pre-fire the kite in the corner and get the kill onto Big Guy. So good adjustment there in the mid round from West Garfield. They've got their 2 rounds. They would love to find a third. It's back up to Dorms to do it.
And I would love to see if Wichita Wolves Academy, instead of roaming 2 people below, actually cover Attic this time. Because, again, like you had mentioned, that was the focal point of that attack, with Bio just sprinting in from the pit doorway. You got Big Guy as the Echo, now positioned in Attic, behind a shield that faces not only the drop, but also Trophy. He's going to be trying to assist the defense with those yokai drones, perhaps even getting aggressive with them to help facilitate an aggressive play from the defense. We sometimes see yokais act as like an attacker drone to scope out areas and allow for info for a roamer, but he does have it placed quite far off of sight. West Garfield are looking like they want to go for an east to west clear because Wichita Wolves Academy have quite the open floor plan set up. Not only is Armory wall open, they've also got, again, half of the attic wall open for this Echo to play around with his shield. You've even got roamers downstairs in the Mute, and I believe Chosen on the Jaeger. Skunky with the Wamai as well, attempting to increase the longevity of these shields with those Wamai discs. But the Rudy will just sprint up, and he'll attempt to open the master wall. And that pretty much, for the most part, will kind of circumvent this hold in Attic from Big Guy, or at least make it a little bit easier for West Garfield to clear that shield.
West Garfield are trying to do a couple of different things at once, right? We see them clearing the top floor, but they're also trying to clear out Trevmac right now, who is not entirely alone. He's got support from Chosen on the top of Freezer Stairs, but not immediate support. Doesn't quite necessarily have the trade if it comes in an important moment. Psychosis lines up 2 PKers, and Skunky line up for the Yana. Chosen as well will fall. Forrest collecting that kill. Now Trevmac, the player I talked about below, he's now going to find a lot of pressure, and he'll get one, but not a second, as Barring will roll through and collect that kill. Rudy will also find one from above, and West Garfield, that is 2 in a row for them, and that is definitely the round they wanted, the half they wanted. It's 3-3.
The entire point of a downstairs roam like that is to make sure the attackers don't aggressively push up white early, and those roamers were playing very passively. Psychosis able to just slip by and line up 2 in the site. It looked like Skunky may have been aware of the position, but even he couldn't stop it, and that was actually Psycho's 2nd kill. He initially grabbed the smoke of PKers. And because you have 2 roamers off site, Chosen dies coming up towards Freezer. Sure, Trev gets 1 refrag, but that's not enough because now Big Guy is the only anchor there, and he's cowering behind a shield. The weakness of that kind of setup is if the attack take in Trophy and kill your anchors over by white side, now you're stuck. Because if you try and escape, then you have your attackers, able to get a free angle on you as you try to get away from the shield. And even if you are able to get away, then you have attackers barreling in from the other side of the site, now waiting for you. So, also Bio even said they thought the site was meeting, and they were still able to win the round.
It was an impressive clear.
It was, I have to say, the last 2 rounds in a row, or actually 3 in a row, even their dining defense from Wichita Wolves Academy were all, like, I guess, what word can I use? Misapplication of utility and manpower, I guess? Like having some things like fully on lockdown, and then some things just as massive gaping holes in the defense. And West Garfield have been able to find those holes every single time.
Right. I mean, and it looks like it's West Garfield taking this time out, right? They did lose a player, disconnected, so we'll get him back in this lobby. But with this timeout, I think it'll be useful for both teams. But honestly, I would say it's even more important for Wichita Wolves Academy right now. They are, sitting in that position that we've talked about before. They have maybe the momentum has started to slip away from them after, a great start to the defense with 2 rounds in a row. They were looking dominant. West Garfield, we talked about it. It was chaotic. It was messy on the attacking side, but now after tidying things up, they shift onto what would we refer to as the easier side of things here, the defensive side, right? This is where now it's the responsibility of Wichita Wolves Academy to step up and get things going. Now with Barring back in the game here, we should be able to head into it in just a moment, and we will get a chance to see if Wichita Wolves Academy can come out of the gate strong. Because if not, if they let a couple of these rounds start to slip away, then they may forget, what it was like to take that round win, and they may be in a pretty tough spot. But here, as we are on our final day of our qualifiers, of our first qualifiers, important to talk about our second qualifying opportunity coming up. There is still another chance to qualify for SCS6. You can make our second split, and you can make the Pro-Am. Just make sure to sign up for our second set of qualifiers coming up this weekend or next weekend, okay? It is $50 if you didn't sign up for the first. If you got the qual pass, we'll see you there. It's going to be a blast. January 14th to 16th, exclamation point play in chat. Regardless of if you make it or not, you'll have an opportunity to be casted by some of us. You'll have an opportunity to be featured on stream, talked about by the community, and hopefully an opportunity to make it into closed quals and make it into the stage. The two teams we've got in front of us, they played exceptionally well over the last 2 days, and they're just trying to close it out here on day 3.
We also have so earlier, right, the timeout was due to a disconnect, and Barring is now back, and I think he got auto-picked onto Cav. So whether West Garfield like it or not, they have a Cavera, who is now prone in tower. We'll see if Wichita Wolves Academy can spot her out. I mean, hey, maybe the Cav can work. We saw how much those flanks gave the attack trouble last time on Villa. Wichita Wolves Academy seemed like they were allergic to setting up proper cams and flank watch. Hopefully it's going to be better here on Oregon as they look to clear the top 2 floors. There's not a lot challenging them, save Psychosis, who is now ascending the armory stairs, looking to get an early pick. Have they spotted the Cav? Do they know?
I think he does.
Yeah, they...
No,
Wait, no, they don't!
He doesn't!
No, they don't! Interrogation on the Trevmac! Barnes gonna get away with it! No, big guy TK'd! He TK'd through the floor! Wow. The timing from Big Guy, who will then transition to a pistol kill on a Rudy? All right, Big Guy is the savior of the round right now. Team killing Trevmac so he wouldn't get interrogated, and then killing Rudy. And Psychosis, who went for that aggressive play upstairs, will die. The Cav, though, does get her revenge before being traded out by Skunky. So, a little bit of a hectic roam clear. Wichita Wolves Academy still come out on top by 1 man.
Rudy, I mean... unfortunate for him that he wasn't able to pick up that kill, but, I mean, Big Guy may have just saved and won the round for Wichita Wolves Academy. I have no idea how he was able to not only kill his teammate and then whip around and take down Rudy, but impressive stuff, and that has thrown, as you can see, West Garfield into a bit of a tizzy. They threw a couple of bodies at Wichita Wolves Academy trying to get something back, and they were able to get a pick here and there. They took down Big Guy in response. The Cav did, Barring did. But they lost overall in that trade battle. It's Bio and Forest left in a 2 versus 3. We've seen them do it before. It's not out of the question by any means. And they do have a good bit of intel about what is going on. They've heard the exothermic charge now go off. They know about the players sitting in freezer, and so they've repositioned one of those deployable shields to deal with it. In addition, you've got Bio, the smoke, the perfect player you want last alive to delay the onslaught of these attackers as much as possible. But can you delay 3 attackers and stay alive? That's going to be the question, because 20 seconds remain. Bio only has 1 more toxic smoke, but Wichita Wolves Academy, they seem reluctant to push on up, and that may bite them in the back if they're not careful. Forest is sitting close around the corner. Skunky and Chosen will just push in one at a time. Forest gets one, but quickly traded 1v1. Skunky on low HP. Bio, all you've got to do is hide. He goes behind the wall, and he'll survive it, but man, that was close.
What? First of all, roam clear from Wichita Wolves Academy. They had no info on the Cav, and yet Big Guy still, like you said, almost saves the round. He team kills his teammate. He gets the kill on the Womai. Sure, he gets traded by Cav, but there's another trade from Wichita Wolves Academy. They end up 3-2. That sight play from Bio and Forest could not have been played better. They both played with their shotguns, first of all. Or, I mean, CJ said it before. He thinks you can adequately defend Oregon with 5 shotguns, and I honestly depending on your side setup, I agree. Chakas are oh so good on this map because of how many tight little corners there are. Just like we saw Forest and Bio playing. Bio around towards the rotate, Forest covering long haul because of the info. They know there's 2 players Freezer, 1 player Laundry. Biologic is repeatedly gassing out Laundry, isolating that 1 player. You said Wichita Wolves Academy looked reluctant to push in, and that was why. Your push cannot just be those 2 guys Freezer, because then you're stranding PKers in Laundry. So not only were the smokes perfectly placed and perfectly timed, but towards the end there, when you're sub 15 seconds, Wichita Wolves, they have to just barrel in. Forest with the Ella shotgun, downs 1, gets traded. But all the meanwhile, Bio is still holding on to Laundry with the shotgun. He downs the thermite. And it was so close. Skunky almost found just enough damage. But in getting that earlier kill on Forest, ran out of ammo shooting at Bio. And that was the last piece of the puzzle that won West Garfield that round. This should be 4-3 right now, but nope. Forest and Bio, they clutched up hard. And now Wichita Wolves Academy once again suffer a deficit.
It's the same thing we saw on Villa when Wichita Wolves Academy were on the attack. They struggled to close out rounds that look like they should win. This theme, it cannot continue here on Oregon. They've got more than enough difficulty. They've got more than enough work to do in terms of winning these rounds, is if they're not working against their own efforts constantly. That is what we need to see from them. They have to just tidy it up. Stop losing rounds when it looks like you have already won it or you are winning it, and they've got to make that adjustment as soon as possible. We can see them trying to get this roam clear going. They're trying to at least pinpoint where a couple of these defenders are positioned. You've got Psychosis, the top of main stairs. You've got Rudy sitting over in kitchen, and I believe you've got Barring as well, the top of freezer stairs, to support the mute sitting in security. Nobody is actually going to be clearing them out, though, right now. Big Guy is downstairs as the Nomad. Deployed 2 of those air jabs at this point, hoping to just lock off any rotations and any flank, not hoping to actively challenge it. A strategy that may actually benefit Wichita Wolves Academy in the long run here, because we know how much West Garfield like to flank. Regardless, Psychosis is on one. He's going to go for the move, and Chosen has no idea. There's a Nomad in the board. There's a drone behind him, and Psychosis gets another flank away for free. He's yet to be traded. 2 more players still on this roam. Wichita Wolves Academy are once again struggling.
I don't know if, like, when they shoot those air jabs, do they just, like, crumble to dust as soon as they're shot? Because they have not had any effect on any flanks whatsoever from West Garfield so far. So, Chosen will suffer the opening death. At least the wall is going to get opened, but because of that second Electro Claw, it's not all the way. Skunky's going to land a nice headshot on the Barring, though, to even up the man count. Psychosis still looking for more, swinging on to Trophy, getting aggressive. There's only 35 seconds left, and Wichita Wolves Academy now stare down the gas grenades on the breach from Biologic, who's throwing them from all the way over in Kids. Big Guy's hitting the crouch walk, though. Kind of chasing down Rudy, who has since escaped and is looking to maybe flank up main once again. His teammate did it once. Why can't he do it again? Skunky goes down. Big Guy refrags onto Forest over towards White. Rudy hitting the flank. Finally hits an air jab. There it is, but Bio gets the trade, so there's no man advantage for this attack. And as he goes down on White, it's all up to PKers, and he's looking the wrong way. Psychosis gets, I believe, at least 3 kills in that round, and it's a 5-3 lead now for West Garfield.
They're killing me, Harrison. Wichita Wolves, I mean, good lord. The problems they're having, it's no different from a Villa. It's the exact same. You're going to get flanked. You got to figure out a way to stop the flanks. You got to figure out a way to use those air jabs better. I don't know, first of all, how Big Guy didn't hear Rudy sprinting up behind him either. He needed an air jab to detonate to take him down. But hey, an air jab worked for at least 1 kill. But the round started off in a troubling spot for them. They let themselves be flanked from main stairs, where there is a main lobby double door that you open at the very beginning of a round, and you place an air jab down right away. Then you have someone sitting in garage. Big Guy was sitting in garage, had opened up main lobby, and yet Psychosis was able to just flirt between the two, jump from main stairs on the basement, work his way up towards Arsenal and towards that flank. And I mean, good lord, it worked perfectly for him. He was able to make an impact later in the round as well. 10 kills so far for Psychosis, and Wichita Wolves Academy need to find a way to get these defenders under wraps. They've got to find a way to keep them constricted on the site. Otherwise, there's very little possibility that this gets any easier for them.
2 more rounds for West Garfield, and they will eliminate Wichita Wolves. They're going to try and start it off on Meeting, a site that Wichita Wolves Academy did not touch for all of their defense. They opted for, what was it? They opted for Dining instead and lost it. They're already quick into Showers Hall. Big Guy already peeking into Kitchen. This is looking like a mainly horizontal push here from the attack as they've established very early coverage here. And, well, Biologic's the only man on site. The attack reads into this. They could have a relatively easy execute and plant down, but of course, they still got to worry about that coverage from above. Big Guy's going to try and nomad off White stairs. We'll see if that air jab does anything. Chosen setting up a drone on top White. Force taking a little bit of early damage. It looks like Trevmac and Skunky are the 2 attackers tasked with at least distracting this defense, but no, PKers is up there as well with the case. So despite there only being 1 man on the site, the attacks still want to full clear these roamers as hard as they can.
Dangerous as well. Like you said, if you're bringing the case with you on that journey, a perilous journey to say the least. It will be, though, Trevmac and Chosen at least at the helm of this clear. That is the smart decision, and Rudy is not looking the right way, nor is Barring. He'll land a bullet or 2, but not whipping around in time to actually finish off the Zofia. Another kill found, not this time, though, for Trevmac as Psychosis. Another player on this top floor tries to make his impact. Now he's going to be looking for another, the Thermite. PK sitting around the corner. That's Diffuser dropped in the middle of Master, and you've got 2 defenders sitting very close to cover that and to stare at that case for the remainder of the round. Bio is alone downstairs, but that doesn't matter anymore because the Diffuser has been dropped on the roam clear as a textbook of an error as you could ever find. Now Wichita Wolves Academy is going to be forced to rotate. Now everyone on this team is going to have to pivot to this top floor, all the while West Garfield are setting up to hold this case. Psychosis gets one, goes 1 for 1 with Chosen, and gets the immediate trade. It's still a 2v2, though, and both of these defenders are on the case.
And Forrest, he's got floor holes, looking right towards where that Diffuser is. Bio, though, coming up main stairs for the assist, will land 1, leaving Big Guy alone and on very, very little HP. Forrest, though, he's going to back off. He knows at this point there is no reason why he should still be covering this Diffuser. He does not want to throw his life away. Instead, he'll play safe on site with Bio and force Big Guy to come to them with that case to get the plant down with 13 seconds remaining. This Nomad's just going to drop the hatch to his death. And West Garfield take round number 9. The roam clear from Trevmac. Brilliant. Early 2 picks, but what do we see again, Jonah? What turns the round into West Garfield's favor? Psychosis on the frickin' flank, because Nomad is busy with the horizontal clear instead of preventing his roam clearers from getting flanked. Psychosis goes upstairs, gets 2 kills, and sure, Wichita Wolves Academy have now gained the majority of the top floor and the area of the top floor directly above the site, but none of that control matters when the case is fully in the hands of the defense. They even rotate more defenders up to cover it, and it works perfectly. Psychosis gets his 3rd, trading with Chosen. Bio gets 1 of those 2 attackers trying to retake because they're so distracted by Forest in Armory. And Wichita Wolves Academy, it seems like they just can't do anything right.
No.
I don't know what it is. And now I guess they're attacking basement, and their last bastion of hope is going to be on a blitz take through elbow.
Obviously, some shenanigans coming up in this round to pay attention to. But again, one more comment about the last round, Harrison. Just imagine what the difference could have been if you had switched the role of Big Guy and PK, right? Take your Thermite off the roam clear. Good God, do not put the Thermite on the roam clear, please. And put the Nomad up there instead. Because they had taken all the control they needed to establish all the air jabs they could have needed. They had trophy control, master control. They had dealt with the top floor players beautifully. It was as textbook of a roam clear as you're gonna get. But because Big Guy was not with them, there were no air jabs on the flank. Instead, you have your thermite on your roam clear. And the two of these airs, compounding, dropped the diffuser in the sight of two defenders, then a third one rotated to go and assist. It is mind-blowing that we actually saw that occur. It seemed that like every little mistake just added up and just gifted West Garfield the round. Enough of that, though. Moving on to this one, moving on to see how Wichita Wolves Academy can finally bounce back. Big Guy is looking to roam clear. He's looking to deal with this player sitting in shower. Psychosis now has been flashed, and a couple more flashes are going to come his way, but Big Guy manages to flash himself. What a way to end his life in this round, as Psychosis will happily claim that one. Shut down Big Guy for what appears to be the remainder of the series. If Wichita Wolves cannot pull out a miracle now, they're going to have to pin down these roamers. They're going to have to find Forest and find Psychosis. Then they're going to have to get their blitz in the building in the midst of a crossfire and somehow get him in the basement.
Yeah, if Wichita Wolves end up losing this round, I'm sure Big Guy will be kicking himself for that poor flash. And like you said, the blitz is for a fast take through elbow, but they've got to clear this roam first, and Psychosis is nasty. 2 kills now on the roam, shutting down Skunky, and Chosen loses his fight to Barring, and they can't even touch the site. The roam clear has gone completely awry. Now it's just the blitz and the thermite, not the 2 operators you probably want in this clutch scenario. They're going to try and hunt down Barring, but Travmac takes so much damage just on the first engagement, all to his feet. Now below 50, I don't know, about 25 health on that blitz. He is near usefulness. A lot of this is going to be riding on the shoulders of PKers. And as the blitz hits the Malusi, or sorry, not the Malusi, the Elamine on that staircase, he's going to be fully exposed. Psychosis, he's going to get dropped by PKers firing at the blitz. That's a good kill for the thermite. He'll leave a drone upstairs to watch flank as well. Finally, on round 10, Wichita Wolves Academy are going to have some sort of flank watch, but they've got to push both through Freezer against quite the crossfire. Rudy covering the long angle with the DMR. He lets the blitz slip past him just a bit. He'll fire one shot over towards Freezer. Trevmac now stopped by this Aruni gate. He'll burn it with the smoke, but again, there's going to be 2 guns staring at him. Forrest and Bile holding onto the main hallway, and you're not going to get through both of these shotguns. Rudy takes a little bit of damage, exposing himself to Freezer, but this gas grenade is going to halt Trevmac in his tracks. Excuse me. And that smoke grenade meant to cut off the cross? Well, it's going to be useless now because of that smoke canister. Forrest with the shotgun shuts down one. Trevmac is now 1 HP thanks to it. And Forrest looking to finish off the round will end it. Double kill for the FO12. West Garfield take the map 7-3, losing only 5 rounds across 2 maps.
A dominant victory, not even a doubt that West Garfield were the better team tonight. Dominating Wichita Wolves Academy. Like you said, Harrison, only 5 rounds Wichita Wolves Academy were able to secure. West Garfield, very clean performance on the defense of Oregon. Once they got that 3rd round, it kind of felt like we were in for a troubling one for Wichita Wolves, because after the momentum slipped out of their fingers and after West Garfield secured the attacking half that they need, essentially winning the attacking half, they moved on to defense with all the confidence in the world, and mistake after mistake from Wichita Wolves Academy kept giving West Garfield the edge. And West Garfield, props to them, knew exactly what Wichita Wolves Academy were struggling with and exploited that to perfection. They knew they could not get a handle on those roamers. They could not get a handle on those flankers, so West Garfield threw as many flanks and as many roamers as they could possibly at the attack. It worked perfectly, and there's no surprise why the victory was this strong.
Yeah, West Garfield just knew that they could do no wrong on the flank. They just kept flanking and flanking and flanking and flanking, and Wichita Wolves were unable to stop them. I mean, how many times was Psychosis alone able to get a flank off in this series? I mean, we saw what? Barring with, I think, 16 on map 1. Psychosis ending with 15 on map 2. Wichita Wolves Academy, they didn't look good. I'm not going to lie. We chose this game because West Garfield came 2nd in the standalone tournament, and Wichita Wolves Academy in the past have been quite the formidable team, but it seems like the past is something we're going to have to let go of because they do not look nearly as good as they once did.
And West Garfield look incredibly strong. I mean, as this team continues to play together, it is, a pug stack that formed for our standalone tournament just a couple of days ago. They made it all the way to the finals. They weren't able to close it out and claim that Pro-Am spot. Instead, that went to Juicers, but West Garfield are here, and they want it. I mean, they're here in these quals. They are one game away now, one best of 3 of making it into our second stage of SCS6, and they really do want that Pro-Am spot. Of course, it's a long way from that, and they still have one more game just to get through in these closed qualifiers, and we've got a lot of other games to bring you, hopefully, or at least to talk about with you today. Before we do that, though, another wonderful shout out to our sponsor, Mike and Ike. We've talked about them before. Harrison, you talked about the new flavors that they're bringing out. Mike and Ike Sour. Personally, I was not a big fan of the original Mike and Ike back in the day, but when they brought out the sours, I mean, I just got addicted. I'm a big sour candy guy, and that is exactly why I love to go for these sours. You can take your candy game to the next level as well. You can grab yourself a pack of Mike and Ike Original Fruits, Mike and Ike Mega Mix, Mike and Ike Sours. They're delicious, fruity, chewy flavors. Can help fuel your game and power you up to keep playing at your best. Harrison, I know that West Garfield played at their best here this evening. I suspect they're going to play up their best in their next game here we've got coming up in just a few moments. Any other words before we send this one off?
No, just that congratulations to West Garfield for actually being our first team in the next round. They are the quickest victors so far in our playoffs, but like you said, we're trying to see if we can maybe snag a map 3 of any of the ongoing games, but stay tuned. We'll either have a map 3 or just our next game, depending on what finishes faster, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back with some other match right after this.